Welcome everyone. Just a short introduction. I'm Aaron. I'm from DK Outsource. I'm working as a quantity surveyor as well as a software trainer. I have trained various companies, users for Bluebeam Revu in the AEC industry. Now, just a short intro of what Bluebeam Revu is. Alright, so to put it simply, it's a PDF software, but it is a very specific software which is relevant to you if you are coming from the AEC industry, even in oil and gas industry as well. Right, it is the preferred and by all means the market leader in this industry. In the previous video, we shared on Bluebeam Studio projects. Right, we shared that Bluebeam Studio projects is more of a document server, which allows you to store the latest version of a file, check all the revision changes done to the document, and most importantly, have only one source of truth, right, with the check-in and check-out system. So today we're going to cover on Studio Sessions. Right, so Studio Sessions is a system where you can actually collaborate and mark up with multiple people, up to 500, right, in the same session at the same time. Right, so that's really the key point. Right, so I've already signed into Studio on my left hand side here, right, and the icon on the right, that stands for sessions. Right, so you start off with a session by clicking the plus icon. If you have the 9-digit ID given to you by your colleague or project partner, you can actually just click join and type in the 9 digits, then you can join straight away. If not, you will click on new session, key in a session name, upload documents. Alright, so it's important to note that only 2D and 3D PDFs can load in a Studio session. Alright, so different from Studio projects. Studio projects can load in any file type, right? But Studio sessions can only support PDFs, right? Okay, so under options, you have certain generic permissions. We'll talk about that at a later time. Right, so restrict attendees by email address. Right, so if you happen to turn this off, anybody who has the 9-digit ID of your session will be able to join, right, whether you have allowed them or not. So it is recommended to keep this option on. Right, the session expiry, you're able to set an expiry date for your session. So for example, if you send out something that you want someone to respond to by a certain timing, you can set a date in which it will expire. So if the person comes in and tries to join the session after the expiry date, they will not be able to join in. Alright, okay. So I will jump into the session that I have created. Right, so with the drawing loaded already, a few things that you can take note. Additional settings can be found in this tab when you left click and click on the settings button. Right, so when this opens up, you can see that under attendees, you can have a list of people that you want to allow. Yeah, you can even deny access to those that you have already allowed. Okay, you can also set group attendees, save group attendees that are under maybe different job scopes in your project. Alright, permissions as well. You can also assign individual and group permissions over here. Right, so for example, you can decide whether someone can save, whether someone can add documents into the session. Right, okay. So first of all, you see under attendees, okay, some of them are offline, some of them are online. You can also send out the invite under this little icon here via email. So the person will get a invitation via email. Click on it, open in Bluebeam Revu. Right. The other way which you can do, right? So this is the small window for attendee access. From here, you can also allow or deny access to your existing attendees. Right. Okay. So as mentioned earlier, you can accept 500 attendees into the session. Okay. Now under documents, you can have you can load in unlimited documents into the session. Right. Whether it's a 2D or 3D PDF. Using tool chest is actually very important for you to have different color coding for different project parties, so that it's very clear who is actually keying in those comments, right? So I have already created a certain list of tool chests, right? So I have architects, contractor, engineers. So each of them have their own specific color and specific type of markups, right? Now, what makes Studio Sessions so useful, right? because especially in our situation right now due to the COVID-19 situation, a lot of us have to work remotely, right? But meetings go on, right? And so we have taken to technology such as Zoom, Teams, Skype, right? So all these technologies are very useful. They are all screen sharing devices with audio and everything. But when it comes to actual commenting and marking up, one of the downsides of using pure screen sharing devices is that only one person can make changes. Right? So imagine if I'm the one who's hosting the meeting and the other project parties ask me to make certain changes. I'm the one that's making the changes on their behalf. So at the end of the day, we will have a fully commented PDF, but I'm the one that's making all the changes. So I'm the author for everything. So that's a lot of work, right? So with Studio Sessions, everyone is able to enter into the session, right, and mark up as themselves, right, in real time as well. Okay, so that's really the game changer in terms of commenting and markup. Now, okay, so on to the left hand side bottom. So now the bottom left hand side is a chat box which you can type down. Right, it also serves as a list of items that you do. So whatever that you do, add items, edit items, all these things are all stored in the list. So you notice as I click each individual item, it will highlight on the screen in the middle as well. So you are able to pinpoint what is being said and what is being done. Right, now it's important to note that even if you're offline and you join in another 2 days later, you are able to see the comments, the items that you have missed. Alright, you don't need to be online to see all the comments. If offline, you come back 2 days later, you are able to see whatever that was discussed 2 days ago as well. Right. Okay, now let's move on to the actual markups list. Right, we did talk about the markups list before. It stores everything that you will do on the PDF. So same thing. Now, so a few different items that you can play around with is that it really shows you everything that a person has commented. Alright, you can sort by author, sort by subject. You have the comments here as well. You have statuses. You can set custom statuses. Alright, so you don't have to keep to the standard statuses that are given to you. You can set your own custom statuses: ongoing, pending, to be rejected, so on and so forth. Right, and you have all the items timestamp as well. Right, so all these things are very important for accountability. Right, whenever you're in a meeting. Right, so there are various items you can use it for. You can probably use it for design review, coordination meetings, defects management. Yeah, just a host of different meetings. And the fact that you can bring your studio app onto your iPad, right? That brings your work out into the field as well, right? So you can also conduct defect management lists, right? So input photos, videos as well on your iPad, right? All those features can be done on right straight from your iPad as well, right? So for example, you see I have the individual markup, right? That stands for clean ceiling grid, and I can also use both the desktop version or the iPad version to actually have the save the picture, right, or the video if I want to, right, over here. Okay, something additional, you can also upload your 3D PDFs, right, where you can do your markups as per usual. Each individual item as a PDF or as a markup, sorry. So you have all the items here in the markups list, right? Something that comes additional with a 3D PDF, you can also make use of the 3D model tree, right? So you can actually look at each individual item or so-called object that is within the 3D PDF, right? You are able to do all these things. Now, so at the end of the day, what do you do to finish up the meeting? If you are about to just leave the meeting while still keeping the session intact, you can just click leave session, right? That will not do anything. If you have decided and said, oh, the meeting is done, we want to finish it up, you can just click finish session. They will prompt you to actually save the file and generate a report. Right? It's important to take note that if you have taken out this document from your studio server or studio project server, alright, once you finish the session, the file will go back into your studio project server. You can generate various reports, and one of them is what you call the record summary. Right, so what is the record summary? Alright, so the record summary is an excellent tool to highlight what has been done, on what drawing and when. So you see I have the number of attendees, the documents that are involved, the date, and also every single thing that is done. A timestamp, right? And also on which drawing, so it's very clear on what has someone said, what has someone committed to, right? You can also insert responsibilities under your custom columns in Bluebeam. Right, so I hope today's video has helped you guys out. Right, if do check in the description box for additional videos. So leave a like, subscribe for any new videos that are coming out. Right, thank you.